Hello, good morning everyone. I am Iris Singson, the Marketing Associate of Phoenix One Knowledge Solutions. We are a wholly owned Filipino training and consulting solutions company that provides both global certification and non-certification courses in the areas of technology, software development, project management, service management, business analysis, business intelligence, analytics, and professional development courses. I welcome you all to the Mastering the ITIL 4 Framework, your next step webinar. Together with MindMagine, we will be guiding you on the next step of advancing your career in IT service management and explore the different certification paths available. That is all. Thank you. MindMagine.
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Michiel Roelof de Boer and I will take you to the updated ITIL 4 framework this morning. Thank you for the initiation, Arise. All right, so where I will take you through is the renewal of the ITIL 4 certification and how to proceed with that. The new practice certifications that have become available, the managing professional courses that are available today, and the benefits of certification, and in the end we will do a Q&A. All right, so my name is Michiel Roelof de Boer. I started myself with ITIL, IT Service Management, in the beginning of the 90s. That was with ITIL version 1. I've seen all the versions and all the evolvement of ITIL coming through. Today I sit here in my role as co-owner and principal consultant and responsible for consulting for MindMagine. And you can click, or actually you can scan my QR code to my LinkedIn profile. There you basically can see all about me if you're interested. Now, as MindMagine, we actually came into the Asian market as Quint Wellington Redwood in 2001. In the beginning of the 2000s, we predominantly started with service management and project management and governance. And in the last year, we have extended our portfolio significantly to the more modern ways of managing services, development, and IT. So we focus a lot on coaching in lean, agile, DevOps, digitization, digital strategy. And our portfolio has been significantly extended with that, as I said. What we really aim for is not to just provide an academical view of all the methodologies that are available. What we really aim at is to make them practical and understandable in organizations, so they actually can have effect and sustainability. Now, as I said, we started in 2001 in Asia. We set our regional headquarters in Kuala Lumpur, and we supported the whole Asian region from there. We expanded through Hong Kong, Singapore, Indonesia, and our operations is predominantly focusing on both consulting and training, making sure that all our consultants are properly certified in all the methodologies we provide in our portfolio, and making sure that not only we are certified, but that we really have practical knowledge how to use these methodologies in a good effect. I think what really differentiates us is that we have a significant set of portfolio in training and in experience in consulting, and that really enables us to pick the best possible combinations of different methodologies to support our clients with their own specific problems. Now, the three pillars where our services are focusing on is transformation, optimization, innovation, and integration and governance. All the methodologies, frameworks, and principles we support are basically organized around these three principles. Yeah, and that really goes from the hardcore methodologies like ITIL, like project management, to the actual transformation and organizational change. Yeah, I won't bother you too long with that. You can see a lot about our history in our own website. Yeah, so we have all the accreditations in place, as well as individuals and as a training provider. Yeah, and we have a substantial portfolio of clients. This is really a short list of clients we have supported in the different areas, but yeah, the list is basically too long to make it presentable. Yeah. Now, before I go into the evolution of ITIL 4, we have a small poll for you. And I give you a few minutes to respond to that poll. Yeah, and if I look at the results right now, I see that 21%, the numbers are still changing. 21% of you have done a foundation, which in the meantime is 24%. 16% has done the advanced trainings, and 60% has not done any ITIL training at all. I try to adjust the content to the overwhelming amount of people that have not done any ITIL training. Yeah, so I will give a little bit of a background on where we currently stand in service management, what frameworks are available, and the de facto standards in this market today. Yeah. Now, let me start a little bit with the history of service management. ITIL was actually published in the late 80s. I got acquainted with ITIL then and started using it in the beginning of the 90s in a large telco. At that moment, ITIL was the only service management methodology available. At that moment, ITIL was also a very technical approach towards service management. There were 32 official books, so that's why the acronym ITIL stands for IT Infrastructure Library. Yeah, 32 official books, but a significant amount of additional books that explained service management in specific industries and specific scenarios. It was really a big library. In the beginning of 2000, version 2 came out, and that was significantly simplified. Yeah, so version 2 was actually two core books, service support and service delivery. The focus of version 2 was really creating a repeatable structure towards service management, remove the complexity that was really given with version 1. Now that initiative was continued with ITIL version 3, where we more start talking about the managing a life cycle of services. Yeah, so whenever we have an idea, it is important that we have a good strategy of the services we want to deliver, that strategy is aligned with the business strategy, that the proper design effort is being made to make sure that the services can support the business requirements, that they are being properly implemented and handed over to operations for continuation and the actual delivery of value. In 2016, version 3 was updated with a practitioner book, and the practitioner book basically set the beginning of ITIL version 4. The practitioner book was predominantly focusing on the guiding principles, yeah, and what are the principles in which you should manage a service. The reason for those principles were that ITIL was in the meantime considered as a de facto standard. It was adopted by a large variance of different companies. And when I say variance, I mean both in industry as well as in size. And each industry and every size of an organization had their own specific requirements how to use it. Yeah, and ITIL always tried to be non-prescriptive, meaning that it really focuses on where we should pay attention to rather than going into the details, because the details can be different for each organization. And that was really the reason to start with a set of principles. What and which are the principles we should focus on if we want to deliver a healthy form of IT services. Now, in this moment as well, Agile, DevOps, were already beyond emerging approaches to software development. And a number of organizations that really had adopted agile approaches found that the current status of IT service management was not really suitable anymore in organizations that were adopting agile digital transformation, organizations that were focusing on high performance teams. And that really drove the need for a renewal of ITIL, and that was basically the birth of ITIL 4, where lean, agile, DevOps, and high performance has been included in the whole framework. So what we see right now, where ITIL is going at, we have the 4-dimension model that is really focusing on when we want to deliver products and services and when we want to deliver value, we should give enough attention to the organization, the way we are structured, skills and capabilities of the people in that organization, the information and technology we work with, the partners and suppliers we work with, and the value stream and the processes. Yeah, and the 4-dimension model really sets a good holistic structure on the organization of IT services and what is included in there. Yeah. Underneath the 4-dimension model in ITIL 4, we have the service value system and the service value chain. Yeah, and the service value system is again, I mentioned that before with the practitioner book. Yeah, we have the guiding principles that really guides us to important approaches to adopt a service management approach in an organization. There is a significant amount of focus on governance. This is especially important for those organizations that have legal and regulatory requirements. Yeah, we focus on a huge set of practices for specific challenges in managing services, and there is a continuous focus on improvement. Yeah, and within that we talk about the service value chain. Now, I will not go through the details of what ITIL really is in terms of practices. The objective of this webinar is predominantly to give you an update on where ITIL is right now and how we, since the beginning of this year, deal with practice management and the specialist approaches. Now, the percentage of you that already have a foundation or a practitioner certification, for you this is a very important slide. Yeah. If you have a certificate that was given out before the 30th of June in 2020, yeah, you have until the 1st of July this year to choose to renew your certification. Yeah. And if you were certified after June 2020, yeah, you will have the option to renew within 3 years. Now, there are several ways to renew that. I come to that. Yeah, but that means if you do not renew your certificate, then it basically will expire. Now, there is an option for that. If you subscribe to the My Excelos approach in PeopleCert, this, however, is not for free. But if you subscribe to the My Excelos approach, then you can actually add practice points. I'm not sure if any of you is familiar with the PMI approach. For PMI, project management, the project management institute, you need to get practice points, what they call PDUs. And PeopleCert initiated a similar approach towards ITIL, Prince 2, program management, portfolio management, risk management, and so on, whatever the certifications are in PeopleSearch portfolio. Now, how to renew? Now, option one is retake the same exam. However, I think that is a little bit of a low value option, but it is one option to renew your certification. Yeah, another option is to take other certifications. The way PeopleCert approaches is if you take a new model or a new exam in the same family. So when we start talking about ITIL, if you take another examination in ITIL, then automatically all your existing ITIL certificates are being updated with 3 years. Yeah. Now I was talking about the PDUs in PMI. Yeah, so in PeopleSert we call that the CPDs, yeah, continual professional development points, and you can log them at the My Excelos site. But as I said, you require a subscription to My Excelos, which is $122 annually. Yeah, and you need to at least get 20 points each year. That means you need to update each year your CPDs in order to extend your validity of your certificate. Now, I think for most people I have talked to, they actually see a great option in extending the certificates by doing other certifications. We ourselves did do that as well. Yeah, so we ourselves have certified us in all the new modules, and with that, automatically all our existing certifications were extended with 3 years. Yeah, so I think that is the simplest way going. And in my opinion, it is a lot less hassle than continuously every year assuring that you get your CPDs in place. But it's a choice. Now, from the initiation of ITIL 4, the certification structure was as you see in the slide right now. It started with the foundation. In the first period, people that were certified at different levels in version 3 could bridge to managing professional. There was no bridging for foundation, so everybody had to retake the foundation level. And after the foundation, you could specialize yourself in the different areas. Yeah, that could be the managing professional area, where we talk about create, deliver, and support. I will come in more detail about that later. Drive stakeholder value or high velocity IT. In digital transformation, we know this as high performance teams. Yeah, then there is a specific module that is called the ITIL strategist. Yeah, and the strategist is really focusing on a much more strategic approach towards service delivery. Yeah, and the strategist model is both used in the managing professional and the strategic leader approach. And as an addition in the strategic leader, we have digital and IT strategy. Now, the approach with the initiation of ITIL 4 was that if you succeed in all the specialist model and the ITIL strategist, you automatically had the managing professional certificate, yeah, or the strategist and the leader. That leads to strategic leader certification. That has changed a little bit right now, and I will go into that, yeah, right here. Yeah, so the way the framework looks today is we still have the foundation in place, yeah, and the elementary discussion about what ITIL 4 is and how to approach IT services. We still have the managing professional, the strategic leader, yeah, and the same concept goes here, that with digital and IT strategy, you automatically get the strategic leader, yeah, and with create, deliver, support, drive stakeholder value, high velocity, and direct plan and improve, you have the managing professional certificate. To achieve the master certificate, yeah, that means that you certify yourself in all models and you have automatically the master title. I saw in my network that this is getting quite popular lately. I still think that what you should pursue is what you need for your career and what for your role in an organization to give it extra value. Yeah, I think for consultants and advisors, and certain trainers, it makes sense to achieve a master's certificate. However, I don't think this is realistic for everyone to pursue. Yeah. We have, addition to that, a number of extension modules. Yeah, that is business relationship management, IT asset management, which are available today. And we have sustainability in digital IT and acquiring and managing cloud services. And these are modules that will soon be introduced in the markets but are not available yet. Yeah, so if we look at the update that is available in Q2 and Q3, yeah, so the IT specialist, digital and IT and managing cloud services will be available later this year. What is available right now are the dark red areas. So those are the practice manager modules as well as business relationship and IT asset management modules. Yeah, and in the continuation of this webinar, I will predominantly focusing on the value of all these different modules that are currently available. Now, starting with the practice management modules, yeah, what is currently being offered are the modules individually or in combination. Yeah, so the individual practices is a one-day training, and you have a 20 question exam and you get 30 minutes for that. That is quite tight. We have done these certificates. I think to pass an exam is doable, but you really need to do appropriate study to achieve that. Yeah. So when we start talking about monitor, support, and fulfill as a combination, we talk about a 3-day training. Yeah, where all the subsequent modules are in place. Yeah, and for the whole combination, monitor, support, and fulfill, you will have an exam for 90 minutes with 40 questions. So those are the options you have. If we talk about the different modules, monitor, support, and fulfill is predominantly focusing on a single point of contact, as we know, the service desk. Yeah, managing disruptions as in incident management, managing root causes as in problem management, request fulfillment as in service request management, and emphasis on monitoring and event management, being able to detect changing data and information in your services and your infrastructure. And that really focus significantly and for a larger part on the day-to-day management of IT services. And frequently called operations, but the operations goes a few steps deeper as well. Now, plan, implement, and control. That is the whole tactical approach towards managing services. So we talk about managing changes and the risk in changes under change enablement. Yeah, making sure that we can do releases in a controlled way through release management. Have a proper understanding about what kind of IT elements are needed to provide the service. We go through that in configuration management. How to effectively deploy new or change services into the operational environment. That is done through deployment management. Yeah, and ultimately a good understanding. And this is a little bit more of a financial aspect behind it. IT asset management. Which is really about understanding what assets we have in our infrastructure and how we should control them. Yeah, and as I said, this is a little the difference between configuration management and asset management is that configuration management is looking more on the elements that are needed to provide a service, where asset management is more looking at what do we own as an organization in terms of IT components. And frequently, asset management is a requirement by either the Inland Revenue Board or certain regulatory requirements. Now, collaborate, assure, and improve, which is a tactical strategic approach towards services. So we talk about continual service improvements, making sure that whatever we do can always be improved. And there is a structured approach behind it towards continual improvement. understanding what the business requirements are and being able to formalize that in service level agreements and manage it later on from an operational perspective to achieve those targets, which is managed through service level management. Relationship management is more at a strategic level, maintaining a proper business relationship with senior stakeholders from your client side. Security management, I think there are a lot of modules available about security management itself, but how security management integrates in delivering IT services, yeah, and managing your external partners or suppliers through supplier management, assuring that your suppliers deliver the right quality and support to assure that you can achieve your service level targets. So those three different modules are being newly introduced in ITIL version 4. Yeah, and so earlier we were talking about if you want to renew your existing certification, you can add a new training, an exam to your own portfolio, and once you pass, automatically your existing certificates are being extended for 3 years. Yeah, and the way you can do that through the practice managers is either by doing one individually or doing a full block. Yeah, and again, where that should depend on, in my opinion, is where you want to develop in your career, or what is currently required in your organization for you to have the right skills and capabilities. Now, the extension models, as I mentioned, currently available is business relationship management and IT asset management. Sustainability and cloud services will come later this year, and I will dive into that a little bit. So when we start talking about cloud services and the relevancy of cloud services, is that the whole integration of cloud technology has become significantly important for organizations, especially if we talk about worldwide service delivery. You want to make sure that you have high availability, good elasticity in your services. The cloud solutions are really a great enabler. It helps us to standardize significantly. So it depends a little bit on where you focus on when we start talking about cloud service. Is that infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or software as a service? But today in cloud solutions, we have the cloud security, we have cloud continuity, and so on. So there are a lot of options available today in cloud. Another element that has become really important in the cloud delivery is that the aspect of sustainability, which is the next module we will be talking about. But there are currently organizations that have to comply with ESG related requirements. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with ESG. ESG stands for environment, social, and governance. Yeah, so these are all sustainability targets that are being given to organizations, and especially to support the environment part. Standardized, scalable services have a positive effect on the environment and sustainability. Yeah, and that is another reason why cloud is getting really popular. I've also dealt with customers, and I find that always an interesting aspect. I also dealt with customers that actually have delivered their services through cloud. The reason for them to move to the cloud was actually for cost control, and they figured out that the moment they moved to cloud, that the costs were actually increasing rather than reducing. Yeah, and what is important in a good cloud approach, that you have good demand management to assure that people are using cloud services in an effective and efficient way. I've seen people just opening an environment in the cloud where they only need to do 2 actions, but they left the environment open for the full day. Yeah, and an external cloud supplier will charge you for that. Yeah, so the demand management part are really important to manage. Yeah, so this module will really focus on all those elements, yeah, and how to adopt cloud technology effectively for your IT services. for those organizations that really wanted to take the drive towards DevOps or DevSecOps. Yeah, the effective DevOps is actually not possible without cloud technology, yeah, or at least not without virtualization and standardization. It makes it extremely difficult to automate and go into CI/CD, which means continuous integration, continuous deployment. Sustainability, and I think the good part is that sustainability comes on the strategic agenda of many companies today. How to deal with our earth resources in an effective way and making sure that we battle pollution and waste as much as we can. Now, for IT, there are basically two dimensions in IT that are important to realize when it comes to sustainability. First is the energy consumption itself. Yeah, if you look at large-scale data centers and the amount of energy they consume, that is really significant. The other part is the where do we source our IT, yeah, and are those parties following sustainable approaches, and that is going through the FUCA approach, yeah, assuring that we have sustainable strategies in our organization that is extended not only internally but also to external parties that we deal with. Yeah, and that kind of sustainability, as I said, with the coming of models like the ESG are getting more and more important, and the new module will focus predominantly on that aspect of service delivery. Business relationship management, that different than relationship management as an practice itself. Business relationship management is really focusing on all the aspects you need to control in terms of having a healthy relationship with senior business stakeholders. So it is talking about communication skills, it is talking about the approach on how to communicate services in an effective way, having a strategic approach towards your relationship in the business, yeah, and managing that relationship and those stakeholders in an effective way in relation to the services you provide. And I think especially when we go into digital transformation or strategic management of IT services, business relationship management is a crucial model to have in place. From the beginning, when I started in IT, we had account managers, but account managers focusing predominantly on sales, yeah, where business relationship management is really focusing on the value creation and co-creation of services to maximize the outcome for the business itself. You know, so it is a slightly different approach than account management. IT asset management. Now we have asset management as a practice itself. Yeah, the specialist module goes a few steps deeper into asset management. And as I said, if your organization does not have any requirements towards asset management, it is still really important to understand what you own as a company. And frequently you will see that companies deal with asset management from a corporate level and not specifically in IT level. But when we start talking about scaling IT, and that especially happens in larger organization, you will really see that asset management in IT is a specialism that can normally not be covered or understood by corporate level. And it is really important to understand if you use all your assets in an effective way, if your assets are being utilized, if your assets need to be retired and decommissioned, or if your asset can be reused. All these elements behind it, including the licenses you have with external parties or contracts, to have a consolidated model about all the assets you require for your IT services and what you own and what you purchase, is a complex discussion. Yeah, and the asset management module, as a specialist module, will really go into the details to understand that mechanism. Now, the managing professional courses, yeah, so they are from the original ITIL 4 introduction available. Um, so we talk about create, deliver, and support, drive stakeholder value, high velocity IT, direct, plan, and improve. And the last one is used in both managing professional as well as strategic leader. Yeah. So when we differentiate that, yeah, the managing professional is really focusing on the IT services and to deliver that in a professional way. That's why we call it managing professional, right? Um, so it is on all three areas, yeah, managing IT services effectively from a strategic, tactical, and operational level, where the ITIL strategic leader is much more focusing on the development and digitization of IT services. I found that the strategic leader module itself is really helping organizations that want to go effectively towards digital transformation or digitization. As IT, you do not have a follow role anymore. You actually need to advise the business where to best focus your efforts on. Yeah, and I'm not sure if you guys follow a little bit what is going on with the principles behind Agile and DevOps, but you basically will see that in DevOps we create end-to-end teams that are not specifically IT, not specifically business, but it is fully integrated. Yeah. Um, when that happens, then ultimately the IT organization as we know it will no longer exist. And some gurus claim that at the end of this decennia, in 2030, the traditional IT organization does not exist anymore, and that IT service teams are integrated with business service teams. Um, and that will actually mean that with that shared responsibility, the focus on end-to-end advice on adopting IT for business effectiveness, business efficiency becomes a crucial point. And the strategic leader really focuses on those elements, the marketing aspects of IT services and IT technology in general, the strategic approach towards that, and how to enable that in order to maximize business outcomes. The specialist training, create, deliver, and support. Yeah, as I said, this is predominantly from an operational perspective. Yeah, and it is indeed when we look at the target audience, is really focusing on those people that managing services from a day-to-day basis. Yeah. And if we talk about the traditional services, we really talk about IT operations. If we talk about agile and DevOps services, then it goes more to the responsibility towards end-to-end delivery of products and services to our clients or customers. So all people that are involved in this area, the create, deliver, and support is a really good approach to get the skills and capabilities in place for managing services, IT services from a day-to-day perspective. Now, the focus of the create, deliver, and support, yes, we focus on the four-dimension model, so organization and people. What is the best way to organize yourself? How should we create effective teams? And what kind of skills and capabilities are required? Planning and managing our resources, and that goes predominantly towards the IT resources, and how can we effectively manage them? No, the support question itself, focusing on value streams. Yeah, and for those of you that are not familiar with ITIL 4, in ITIL 4 we talk about a value stream as an end-to-end delivery of a service. Yeah, and in the picture you see an example of a value stream. So when we talk about, for example, incident management, a user comes with a demand. And the demand in this case is that the service is not working and they like to have it restored. So they contact the service desk that takes care of the engage activity. And either the service desk can immediately effectuate a workaround and the service is working again, so it provides value. Or in other cases, a direct workaround does not work. We need to build something. We need to design and implement it before it becomes an effective solution. So what we really try to do with value streams is to have a proper end-to-end approach, how services and practices should be managed in an effective way. Yeah. No. And then, of course, at operations, we have a lot of tasks at hand. So how do we make sure that those activities are managed in an effective way? And the principles around that are being significantly emphasized on. Now, drive stakeholder value, yeah, which is more from a tactical strategic approach. Yeah, so we again talk about the relationship manager approach. We talk about service owners and product owners, team leads and middle management, and service managers. Yeah, so that is really the target audience to assure that our services are future ready and delivered according to the right current requirements. Now, an important element in drive stakeholder value is what we call the customer journey. So understanding all the touch point a customer goes through when they engage us for IT service delivery. So we talk about the value propositions we can give to our customer, building the relationships through relationship management, making sure that we have the right engagement in order to create the right demands. And demand management is an important aspect in this one. Being able to get the right combinations to our clients in terms of service offerings, making sure that those requirements are being agreed on and that expectations are being properly managed, and that we further co-create together with our customer the service experience in order to maximize value and maximize business outcome. So the drive stakeholder value is not so much focusing on the technical aspect, but much more from a service provider coordinating and assuring that we follow the right steps and that we focus on the right value to be delivered in an IT service. Now, high velocity IT, as I said, in the high velocity remark is significantly understood in digital transformation, where we actually call it high performance organizations or high performance teams. Yeah, so high velocity IT is really focusing on how do we create effective teams that can really work in a fast-paced environment and possess high level of dynamics. And when I say high level of dynamics, I know that a lot of people translate that into chaos. This is not chaos. This is very, very structured, in fact. But being able in high dynamics deliver the right pace and the right value to the clients. Yeah, so not where we see that predominantly in digitized organizations and digital transformation. Yeah, and the model is predominantly for managers and practitioners that work in highly digitized or highly automated environments. Ideally, those organizations that want to or are currently working with elements like Agile and DevOps. And we touch upon all the contents that are the core modules behind ITIL 4. That means IT service management, but also lean, agile, and the DevOps way of working, and how to combine all those elements into effective high-performing teams. So we give an introduction, what is high velocity, and the approaches around that. What are the building blocks for a high velocity team and the operating models behind it. The cultural aspect is significant. I think those organizations that have tried or are using Agile or DevOps do understand that it is a significant cultural shift to focus on. Within that culture, we really talk about the purpose. Yeah, what do we really want to achieve at the end, and why do we come to work? And this is all focusing on motivation behind ethics and design thinking. The people itself, their mindset, and how we can progress towards that. And that is by using the lean, ITIL, and continual improvement models. So the techniques we focus on: fast development, continuous integration, continuous deployment, resiliency, fault tolerance in operations itself, and a continuous feedback loops with the customer that enables us to co-create value. Direct, plan, and improve, the more strategic approach behind IT. And as I said, the direct, plan, and improve is used both in managing professional as well as in the strategic leader. I like the training itself, but I also found that people that have no experience with strategic approaches find the module a little bit difficult to understand. So and that is really what I want to specify here for the target audience. Yeah, anyone who is aligned with organizational strategy, IT strategy, and IT architecture. I think the Direct Plan and Improve is an excellent module that gives you extra tools to help you with creating a healthy, future-proof strategy of your IT services. The concept of Direct Plan and Improve, the role of GRC, yeah, and that was an earlier effect of ESG. So it is, we still talk about sustainability here. Now, the principle and methods of continual improvement, managing a transformation, and we call that organizational change management, and making sure that we pay attention to the right things in terms of measuring and reporting. Yeah, and again, the focus on value streams is embedded everywhere in ITIL 4. Yeah, so we look at Direct Plan and Improve from a strategic perspective towards the value stream and practices and what we should adopt. Yeah, so Direct Plan and Improve really helps us to understand which practices are crucial for us as an organization to adopt effectively and structure that in effective value streams. Now, the digital and IT strategy, yeah, and that is for the next module for the ITIL leader, and that is really at the senior management level, in my opinion. The focus is a lot on marketing and sales aspects of IT services, in extension of what we had with the previous module. It helps us to build a manageable IT strategy, and the focus, and I need to say that what the focus really behind that is to help organizations that wants to adopt a digitization approach towards IT services. Not every organization does that. But if you look, for example, and so what I'm trying to say, this is not limited to IT anymore. This is really in terms of business value. Yeah. So for the target audience, the people that sign up for this training needs to have a proper understanding about business effectiveness and business outcome, and help an organization to really drive towards digitization and digital transformation. Yeah, so when we start talking about elements like Industry 4.0, this is really helping an organization to set a strategy to go towards the approach of Industry 4.0. Now, the key concept covered, yeah, so the guiding principles related to digital and strategy, the whole reason why we should change our business approach towards IT service delivery, and the adoption of end-to-end services. Yeah, and this is predominantly where we focus on when we start talking about the value streams. Yeah, the combination of having teams that have people from the business and IT together to be end-to-end responsible for delivering a single or multiple services. The strategic approaches behind it, the collaboration between IT and business. No, the championing and advocating of digitization in the organization, yeah, and a proper understanding on how to implement that effectively in an organization. Now, I've seen a lot of discussions on social media about a certification and if a certificate is still worth it. I think the discussion is not so complex. What I think is that a certification basically proves that you understand the principles and the controls behind and methodology, and together with your experience, it strengthened that. Yeah, so still certification is an important way to advance in your career, to advance in your skills and capabilities, and being able to focus on continuous learning and continuous growth. And yeah, the certificates give a structured way The training center certificates give a structured way to do that in relation with internationally recognized standards, and I think that is the important part behind it. All right, now I give some time for a Q&A. I'm not sure if there are any questions at this point. Grace, can you help me out here? All right, now while waiting for the Q&A, maybe we can go a little bit into more detail about the follow-ups with that. Yeah, we would really appreciate it if you could give your opinion about the value of this webinar to you. You can do that either through Google Forms or Microsoft Forms. So I suggest if you have a mobile phone at hand, scan the QR code and spend a few seconds on filling up the survey. Another option to get your certificate in place is by registering and following us on LinkedIn. You have every month we pick one individual, and that person will get a free course. So if you guys have an ITIL certificate and you want to extend it, this is an easy way to go there. Yeah, and another approach is the discounts we offer. Yeah, let me check here.
Hello. Yes.
Arise,
Thank you,
do you
Sir
want to
Michael.
take this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
please
we
go ahead.
have Phoenix One Knowledge Solutions have a great promo for everyone here. All of the attendees of this webinar will get a 10% discount when you register for any of all ITIL 4 foundation and intermediate courses not later than June 30, 2023. So don't miss this great opportunity ahead. You can contact us via email and in our website. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, then let me go back to Grace. Grace, do we have any Q&A?
No. If let's say you have any questions, you can just go to the top and you will see a Q&A. If let's say you want to ask after this webinar, you can leave us a message in chat, in chat box on the top. We will answer you after the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys, and thanks for your time. And yeah, if as Grace says, if you have any follow-up, you can do that through Microsoft Teams, or you can contact us or Phoenix One through the information we've given you. Yeah, let me show you one more time how you can contact Phoenix One in case you want to approach for an ITIL training with discount. Yeah, you have until the end of June to make use of the discount. So that is 8 days from here. Yeah. And again, thanks for your attention. Goodbye, guys.